Summer League maybe for shedheads, but guess what? Alijah Martin showed up and showed out.
You are Locked On Raptors, your daily Toronto Raptors podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
It's your favorite part of the day. Thanks for making Locked On Raptors your first listen every day. I'm Vivek Jacob. I've been covering the Toronto Raptors for 8 seasons across several outlets. You can follow Locked On Raptors on X, Instagram, and YouTube. And be sure to check out the Locked On Raptors Discord, where you can talk all things basketball, but especially the Raptors. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use Locked On NBA for $20 off your first purchase. It is Friday, July the 11th. I'm going solo today to recap the Raptors' 116-72 win over the Chicago Bulls. That is right, folks. A 44-point win to open up Summer League. We've put some big expectations on this team. They've named a really strong roster, and they show that they are about that business. And to start it off, Jamal Shead, baby. Energy, intensity, focus, leadership. He brought it all right from the get-go. I think that's what you wanted to see. That's what I wanted to see in terms of setting the tone. The Raptors didn't get off to the greatest start. They did lose the first quarter 24-21, but I thought he did everything that he needed to do, and then the rewards came in the second quarter. Scoring wise, the Raptors did struggle in the first quarter. About midway through the first quarter, the Bulls went into a 1-2-2 zone, and I thought that kind of frazzled the Raptors. And for that second half of the first quarter, pretty much the lineup was Shead, Alijah Martin, AJ Lawson, Jonathan Mogbo, and shone, and they just couldn't figure it out. And I think, some of that is obviously the Bulls just saying, we will see if you guys can beat us from the outside. And, the Raptors just couldn't find a flow. I think that's something that, maybe going down the line, you'll see tested a bit more, and we'll see how they turn out against that. But the answer to that was, hey, let's just force turnovers and get up the other end. So that's what the Raptors did. Second quarter really set the tone, came out with a 9-0 run. So trailing 24-21, went on a 9-0 run, and that set the tone for the entire quarter. They took a 48-33 lead into the half. And let's go back to that 9-0 run, because Jamal Shead and Alijah Martin were in the backcourt again for this run. And man, Alijah caught a body. This man drove down the lane, right hand tomahawk. I mean, he had Norm Powell down to losing the ball midway in the air and jamming it. Yeah, that man can fly. And defensively, I thought he was excellent. The intensity he played with, when he and Jamal were in the game together, I thought that was so much fun to watch. And you watch Alijah Martin play defense, he looks like he's bigger than 6'2". He plays like he's bigger than 6'2". And dude is just built like an ox, man. Like, it is going to be tough to get by him. And he came out, made a statement. Like, this was, hey, I have a point to prove. And you can just see the Norm vibes, right? Like, just taking no nonsense, just trying to prove a point every time. Obviously, defensively, maybe we'll have different things to say about each of them, but I think Alijah, that's going to be his calling card. That's what he's going to, stand on. And that was a huge part of the Raptors just getting out in transition over and over again. They ended the first half forcing 18 turnovers, 21 points off those turnovers. And that just set the tone for the rest of the game. The Bulls finished with 33 turnovers. That tells you everything you need to know about this game. The Raptors, this was just an extreme try-hard performance. Like, they just outplayed them, outplayed the Bulls in terms of intensity, competitiveness, and energy. And I think that's going to be the calling card for, you look towards the regular season and these guys being bench guys. I think that just is going to be what this identity of this team is. And can you come out and can you apply full court pressure for as long as you're in the game? And maybe you play shorter shifts, but when you're in there, you will be absolutely as intense as possible. Quick shout out to Chucky Hepburn. And, I mentioned short shifts. Jamal Shead actually checked out pretty early, and Chucky Hepburn came in, and I thought he played some good defense. The shot wasn't there in this one, but the defense definitely was. So I thought that was super encouraging. Coming back to Alijah Martin, I mean, finishes the game with 16 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, knocked down a couple of threes. He had a move where he got the ball on the perimeter against Matas Buzelis, and he was on the right side, just around the 3-point elbow, and he drove left, just drove hard, and finished with a lefty little, finger roll. And that was such a smooth move to watch. And again, I think that was just recognizing that, hey, I've got the step on this guy. So when a bigger guy's on me, who doesn't have the quickness, to show that poise, to show that focus, to say, hey, I've got the matchup advantage here, and I can just take it all the way to the rack. And I think that was super encouraging to see. So little things like that, and again, knocking down a couple of 3 balls, that's going to be big for him, right? To see how that shot falls. As I mentioned, didn't fall for Chucky Hepburn. He missed all 4 of his 3-point attempts, but I did like the defense I saw from him. Jamal Shead, if you look at the box score, maybe you'll say, okay, whatever, 9.6 assists, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals. But I thought, he was kind of the heart and soul of this game. Beyond that, I think what stood out with the backcourt, beyond the ball pressure, beyond just forcing the turnovers offensively, I think that Jamal can get into some actions in the pick and roll. We've seen that. He's definitely shown that he's kind of above this summer league level, and he should continue that Sunday against the Magic. But I think there were instances where he was having to deal with some ball pressure, where the Bulls threw some of their own half-court pressure, full-court pressure, three-quarter court pressure. And, he had one turnover, for example, from half-court. He tried to throw it to the corner and kind of skip past to the corner and threw it like miles out of bounds. So little things like that to work on. I think I hope we see other teams play more zone, just so the Raptors get tested with that, just so we can see what that looks like. And in terms of the Raptors getting tested, you do want to see opponents take better care of the ball. But at the same time, it's just amazing to see the intensity that the Raptors played it with. Like, this is what you want from this group. And so if this is the way they're going to set the tone and continue it, this is what you want to see going down the line. Now, in the next segment, we are going to get to some really good play from AJ Lawson, Jonathan Mogbo, and Orish Shomshe. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Gametime comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Gametime makes it possible. Gametime makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch. And they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. You get seat views right in the app before you go by, so you know exactly where you'll be. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. And we are back as promised. We are going to talk about some AJ Lawson, Ulrich Chomche, and Jonathan Mogbo. I thought with AJ Lawson, we discussed this earlier, it's really going to come down to his shot. And he made 4 out of 8 threes in this one, finished with 22 points. He has that pop in his game, that intensity that he plays with. He got a bit of a sideline interview, and over there he just talked about, hey, I'm actually a vet when it comes to summer league. This is my 5th summer league, and on this team it's all about playing hard, playing with intensity, and maxing out your energy and effort for as long as you're on the floor. And I thought AJ fit the bill in this one. Both ends of the floor, played hard, and he's got that dog in him. I think when he plays this way, when the shot's falling, then everything is clicking. But he looked to attack the basket at different moments. He got to the line 6 times, so that's another encouraging thing to see with AJ Lawson. And yeah, it's just going to be nice to have him and Alijah Martin coming off the bench for this summer league and maintaining that intensity, bringing the heat, so to speak, and enjoyed what I watched from him. Let's get to Ulrich Chomche, because I think for those of us who watched last year's summer league, obviously you saw a big time project, and he struggled to make catches inside. There was just constant fouls and getting himself in foul trouble, jumping at everything. And I will say, maybe he's still a little jumpy, but I thought the catches were better. I thought there was more poise on his finishing. So I think the big thing that gets talked about with Chomche is steadily seeing the game slow down for him. And so I think to see him make those regulation plays is a step forward. And I think that's progress. When you compare last summer league to this summer league, that's something that you really wanted to see from him. And again, a couple of nice touch finishes in and around the basket, a jump hook in there. So encouraged by that. He had one nice steal where, again, obviously the Raptors applying pressure, and there was an inbounds near half court, and he just used his length. They thought they could throw it over him, but the answer was no. Chomche was able to tap it and then just race down the court and slam it down himself. So good to see from him. Finished the game with 9 points, 6 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 blocks, 4 for 6 from the field. So good signs from him. And then Jonathan Mogbo, I said that this was going to be, as far as summer leagues go, a big one for him to show progress, especially finishing on the inside. The guy finishes 7 for 8 from the field. I think at least 5 of them were dunks, and just getting out in transition, creating good opportunities for him for seals against smaller guys, and then, just catching the alley-oop and finishing. And defensively, he started the game. He got the matchup on Matas Buzelis, and I thought he defended him really, really well. Shout out to Buzelis having one nice dunk for himself. He had a windmill in transition. Nice, clean finish on that one. But Mogbo, I think overall in this one was really solid on both ends. 15 points on 7 of 8 shooting again. Had 3 steals as well. He actually picked Noah Sange's pocket and went down the floor for a transition bucket. That was a nice play to see from him. Quickly on Asenge, at this stage of his career, obviously a project. He very much looks like, if he gets any offense, it's going to be in transition. He knocked down 1 3. He had 1 transition bucket. He finished the game with 5 points. So those are the 2 buckets I'm talking about. He did have 3 steals. And obviously the length is there, but this is very much going to be a project for the Bulls, and something that they will have to hope pans out in the long term. Shout out to Javon Freeman Liberty, by the way. JFL, familiar face, 21 points in this one, went 10 for 13 at the free throw line, so got to the line plenty. But coming back to the Raptors, yeah, having those three performances, Mogbo, Shamshe, AJ Lawson, really nice to see. Really good signs moving forward in terms of other guys worth talking about. Let's get to some Jacoby Walter. Obviously, this is a guy that I've talked about quite a bit, and I gave him a bit of a Mamba challenge to say, hey, these 4 games, are there going to be, are you going to be able to show that you could potentially be the best player on the floor? I don't think he took home that award tonight, but I think he had some good moments. Finished with the 12 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. He actually started the night for the Raptors with a pull-up 3 in transition, and that got me excited off the bat. I was like, whoa, okay, Jacoby's coming out to show something. By the way, the first time you see Jacoby, looks pretty unrecognizable from the braids that we got used to seeing. He's got, very clean cut now, baby face, and so it took some getting used to with that for sure. I think with him, I think there's some tough shots that he takes. That's kind of just like part of the nature of his game. But I think there is good intent, good process in terms of what he's trying to do. But it's just the efficiency that maybe isn't quite there. He shot 4 for 12 in this one. I mentioned he hit the pull-up transition 3. He missed his next 4 threes for the rest of the game. He had some sloppy turnovers as well. So I think maybe the handle is one thing that you would have liked to see some progression with, and maybe that's not quite where it needs to be. And we'll see. First game, maybe some rust, maybe some timing that needs to come along with getting into summer league action. So we'll see how that plays out the rest of the games. But yeah, nothing to write home about for Jacoby. He was just okay. I can't believe I didn't even mention this, but Colin Murray Boyles did not play. Unfortunate for him. He did have an adductor strain. I believe there was some reporting that it's very minor, and he could very much be in play for game 2 against the Magic on Sunday. So hopefully extremely precautionary, and we do get a look at him. And so with him out, you had Colin Castleton get the start. He was alongside Jameson Battle, Jamal Shead, Jacoby Walter, and Jonathan Mogbo. Jameson Battle was solid, knocked down his threes, 3 for 5 from beyond the arc, kind of did his thing. Quickly on those two guys, because Darko had mentioned that Jacoby added 12 pounds of muscle, and he had said that Jameson Battle had bulked up as well. I could definitely see the tan on Battle. I don't know if I saw too much of a weight gain. Jacoby, it was also hard to tell. So we'll see. Maybe, Jacoby I could see as being one of those guys who's just like wiry strong. And so maybe it's not quite as visible. He's kind of in that Chris Bosh category that way, where even when the muscle's being added, it doesn't quite show. But yeah, with Castleton, I think he was decent. I think the good thing with him is, you can use him up top in actions and maintaining a flow up top, and defensively, I think he's actually a decent rim protector at this summer league level. And so he gives you that and a bit of that paint protection. Obviously, he's not someone that has a lot of muscle. So if he goes up against someone who has the strength advantage, that's going to be a challenge for him. It didn't get much offense going in this one, just the 5 points on 6 shots. But yeah, I think overall, if you're a Raptors fan, this is the start you wanted to see, and you got it, right? Like, for even right at the very end when you had the reserves check in for the final few minutes, you had the broadcast saying, hey, like, man, you really got to be able to apply a full court press to play for this team. The entire game, full court press, a lot of intensity, and it's clear that that's kind of the MO for this team here at Summer League, and hopefully that's something that will then carry over to the regular season. To finish up, we're going to get into some of the things that happened off the court that were encouraging. So speaking of what was encouraging off the court, number one, who showed up for the game on the sidelines? You had Scotty Barnes, you had Brandon Ingram, Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, Jakob Pertl, Grady Dick, Ochai Agbaji, and the new Raptor himself, Sandro Mamukelashvili. So plenty of guys in attendance to support this team. And we had talked about earlier that, hey, this is something that has been part of the fabric, part of the culture of the Raptors organization from the leaders. And so you wanted to see that continue, especially with, what's going on above them, and there being a hole in the president's position right now. You want to see those things have that continuity. And so to see those guys courtside and cheering, and man, Scotty was into this game, and you love to see that. You love to see that leadership from Scotty. Super encouraging. And so, yeah, just very, very happy to see that. Jakob Pertl had a nice sideline chat with Dennis Scott during the game, and he was talking about expectations for the season, and he just sounds like really excited for what this team can do. And yeah, he said he believes that the Raptors can push and compete with the top teams in the East, and they've got to go out on the court and prove it. It's funny, if you were to take this summer league game in the approach, if you were to take the end of last season and like what the Raptors are trying to do, and you've got this very talented starting five, you've got potentially some depth off the bench. I could see this sort of, hey, let's have short shifts. Let's go really, really hard. Let's keep maybe two starters on the court at all times and maintain that intensity, but also have that talent out there and really put pressure on the opponents. They might be like the Indiana Pacers without the three. The 3-point shot is obviously going to be an issue. That's going to be another thing. We talked about the zone earlier. I think that's something that we'll see as we go on here in Summer League. Just quickly, I will say with Dennis Scott, I think he's a super fun guy. Is enjoyable to watch when he's on the broadcast, and always has fun chemistry with whoever he's with. We got to get to a point where we know how to say Jakob Pertl. It's it's turtle with a P. It's not that hard. We got to get away from Poitl. That's my only gripe. Hopefully Dennis Scott gets the memo for the next one. But besides that, in terms of encouraging signs, just looking down the list here, touched on pretty much everybody. Coming back to Battle, I'll probably say that he's gonna just play that same role all the time, right? And I think that in this situation, he came in and he didn't force anything, and that's good to see too, right? I think maybe there's a priority saying, hey, like, we want to see what Jacoby's going to do on the ball. That was something that Darko actually mentioned in media. And so maybe that was how they're just going to operate. And it's like, hey, Jameson, we're going to get you your catch and shoots, and we want you to thrive off that. So seeing him in kind of that role-playing option and maintaining that is going to allow us to see, what Jacoby's got when Colin Murray-Boyles comes back. Maybe we'll see what he's got, and, we'll see what changes are made to the starting five then. If it is a Battle out, is it Castleton out? Is it Mogbo out? So I guess we'll wait and see on that. Last thing I'll touch on, Quincy Guerrier came into the game late, went up for what would have been a big dunk, and got fouled, landed awkwardly on his back. Nothing malicious about the foul at all. He just landed awkwardly, and so a bit of a scary moment. But he seemed okay. He took his time, on the ground for a bit, but got up, seemed okay. So we'll see if he figures into the action for game 2. But that was another thing I thought was worth mentioning. And yeah, to finish up, again, love the way Jamal Shead set the tone, but Alijah Martin, man, shout out to you. Like, you've got the attention of Raptors fans. Caught a body in that second quarter, and man, if he would have made that second dunk, ooh, like that one, he took off. I think it was like from the semicircle and just one-handed tomahawk again, just cocked that joint back. That, I would have had to bring Sean and have a "what sound did you make" segment with him for that one. Like, it was almost a good thing he didn't make it. Like, my mind was not ready for that. That dude exploded, and he is going to be fun to watch these remaining 3 games, and then we'll see beyond that. But yeah, the Raptors are able to get it done, 116-72 over the Chicago Bulls. Game 2 will be against the Orlando Magic on Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern, and I will have a podcast up for that Monday morning. Thanks for listening, and don't forget, if you want to carry on this discussion, this game discussion, I know it's already happening in the Discord, but if you want to continue it over the weekend, head on over to the Locked On Raptors Discord. Link is in the description. Thank you for making Locked On Raptors your first listen today. For your second listen, find the Locked On NBA podcast where there is no offseason. Doug, Matt, and Hayes keep you up to date on contract negotiations, rumors, and everything you need to be the most informed NBA fan. Find Locked On NBA on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.